Hey YouTube, Bob here. Welcome to World of Nintendo. I've got a lot more content like this on the way, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know what you think. Here we go. This video is the NES edition of the World of Nintendo Favorites playlist, and today we're going to be taking a look at just 4 of the games in my collection that are some of my favorites. And like I said, this isn't a top 5, top 10. I'm just picking the games that kind of qualify as my favorites, of course, and games that really aren't the usual suspects in the vein of The Legend of Zelda or Super Mario or Metroid. I want to share with you some of the games that you'd have to travel off the beaten path for in order to find them. And as a kid growing up, I really didn't do that a whole lot. You know, the games that I came across largely were the ones that were heavily advertised or very popular. But that's not the case with these games, particularly this first one we're going to be taking a look at that is Demon's Sword. And before we get too far into it, I want to give a shout out to Ron Man over at Ron Man Gaming, who is one of the inspirations for me to start this playlist. And I think one of his very first videos, if not the first video he ever did, was a review of this game, Demon's Sword. So if you haven't checked out any of his content over at Ron Man Gaming, I highly suggest you do so. But this game I came across at my, oh gosh, what would it have been? It was 1990, so that would have been my 11th birthday. I actually got this game from a friend for my 11th birthday. And back in 1990, receiving a Nintendo game from a friend for a birthday, that was pretty much unheard of, because you probably couldn't buy NES games for less than $20 at that point. And that was quite expensive, so I was really thrilled to get an NES game from a friend. And at first glance here, it looks like you're playing as somebody who looks like He-Man or Conan the Barbarian. But if you do a little digging, you find out that this is kind of an adaptation of a Japanese game. So I think they Americanized the art, at least for the cover. In regards to the character sprite, you're going to see it takes on much more of an Asian look, which is where the origin of the game was. But you're going to release the power with Demon's Sword. And the reason I chose this game is because I am a really big fan of 2D side scrollers. That's my favorite genre of video game. And this one is unique in that it has really light, airy play control. This guy can jump like you wouldn't believe, and you actually pull off his jumps by pushing up on the D-pad. And that's usually not the preferable way to jump. You want to push a button to do that, but just with the way the play control works in this game, it works, and it's a lot of fun. This is kind of a breath of fresh air to play, and you really do get a lot of air when you play this game. Lots of big jumps in Demon's Sword. So if we take a look at the packaging here, we've got the branding on all of the sides except the bottom. And then on the back, we've got, "In a land of impossible evils, all paths lead to the Dark Lord. A beautiful princess cries out in terror, and a world despairs in darkness. Only you, the hero Wario Victor, can traverse chasms of fire and mountains of doom to battle the fiendish gatekeeper and confront the Dark Lord. In your cunning and skillful hands, the Demon's Sword grows with a magical power more lethal than all the wretched weapons of the Dark Lord's legions. Gather your courage, grasp your blade, and release the power that is yours to control." And it says actual Nintendo Entertainment System screens shown. And a lot of times they did that because actually, as now I think about it, in some of the games, the screens that they showed on the back of the box, they were from the arcade version of the game. And of course, arcade graphics were leaps and bounds ahead of what was available on home consoles. So that could actually be considered false advertising. But here we have screenshots taken from the actual NES game. And Ron Man in his video actually pointed out that there seems to be a little bit of a flaw in these first 2 screenshots here. There's some vertical lines going down. So I think that's more of a printing error than anything else. But this last screenshot here at the bottom doesn't have anything like that. But we've got "Battle the Old Wizard of Cedar Mountain, but beware of his wrath." Some really cool boss battles, some very detailed graphics, and just the the way that they move around. A very adult theme here as far as the maturity goes. Not your Mario game with the cartoonish graphics for sure. Brave the broken bridges and terrifying chasms of bamboo forest. The magic of the phoenix can save your life. So this is Demon's Sword, and the sword is definitely very, very important in the game. And after you complete a certain number of levels, you add another piece onto your sword. So the sword just keeps getting longer and longer as you go. And it has a very satisfying ching, ching sound as you wield it or swing it in the game. So let's take a look and see what was included with Demon's Sword. With this particular game, I actually do have all the pack-in materials. That won't be the case with some of the other ones that I show you here. But here we've got the cartridge in its non-Nintendo branded slipcase. There's the box art once more. And then here we have the instruction manual, how to play. Got your Nintendo Power subscription. Got a Taito software registration card. Free, free, free. You can subscribe to Taito's Taito Times, their own version of Nintendo Power, but of course only for their games. And then this poster, which kind of doubled as a poster and an advertisement for kids. Of course, I want to be showing off all the other games that is available by the publisher. You got Target Renegade, Bubble Bobble, and then on the back, Demon's Sword, Operation Wolf, and Sky Shark. So that's Demon's Sword. Up next is 3D World Runner, which coincidentally I think is another game that Ron Man touched on in one of his videos on his channel. But I chose this video game because my friend Adam, back in the day, he rented this game and we just played it all weekend. We had a sleepover and it was a lot of fun. I really like this game because, again, the very fast, light, and airy play control with huge jumps. I already mentioned that I'm a huge fan of 2D side-scrollers. This is not a 2D side-scroller. You're actually running kind of forward, Space Harrier style, if you've ever played that game on the Sega Genesis or arcade, and in the background kind of scrolls beneath you. But I always enjoyed the artwork, very futuristic, space-like, almost kind of like the Jetsons TV show, and I always liked the checkerboard aesthetic of the ground. But you could basically almost fly around, especially when it came to the boss battles, just like Space Harrier. But we got the 3D battles of World Runner. 3D World Runner, they kind of omit that part of the title on the front. But on the back, we've got the Battle of a Lifetime comes alive in 3D. World Runner, the wildest of space cowboys, is out looking for adventure. Now he's got it, and he needs your help. A strange world terrorized by Grax, the alien serpent beast, has asked you, World Runner, for help. Knowing you can outrun, outjump, and outblast anyone or anything, you race into battle. But this is no ordinary fight. These battles will carry you to 8 strange planets filled with bottomless pits, shooting stars, and poisonous aliens, all sworn to defend their Serpent King. And each new world is ruled by an alien serpent beast more terrifying and more powerful than anything you've ever seen before. Are you ready, World Runner? They're waiting for you. And just by the writing of this description on the back, you can see how kids were enticed into buying games, because this is all we had. There was no internet. Aside from the commercials we saw on TV, we got the box art, which on this one is pretty cool, and then the description on the back, which is just awesome, and then plus the screenshots. So here it looks like they're showcasing, you know, the high jumps. You've got your laser cannon. And then they're showing here that you can switch to 3D mode and bring your fight right into your living room. And of course, this is kind of a faux 3D that we could achieve on the Nintendo Entertainment System by doing this kind of funky thing with the graphics and then using the red and blue 3D glasses, which they do say were included. Sadly, this is one of the games where I don't have all of the pack-in materials. But I do have the 3D glasses that came with Rad Racer. I don't know if the ones that came with this were of the same quality, as these were made out of plastic. And I've always enjoyed this little flap here. This is friendly for people who are already wearing glasses. You just kind of clip that over the arms of your glasses. But I'm not sure if you got this version of the 3D glasses, like with Rad Racer, or if they were some cheaper white paper 3D glasses. But you were supposed to get 3D glasses in this package. But all that I'm going to have here, as you'll see, is the game and the instruction manual. So take out the game, and we got the instruction manual, game pack instructions. This game was actually by Acclaim of Mortal Kombat fame and lots of arcade games, which is where this this game, I'm sure, got its start. But that is 3D World Runner, an awesome game if you're looking for some light, airy jumping, fast-paced action, and of course, shooting things. That's always fun in a video game. Alright, next up is a little bit of a different title as far as the genre goes. This is Deja Vu. This is a point-and-click mystery adventure that got its origins on Macintosh computers. So you might think that not having a mouse pointer device would make it difficult to play this game, but the way they set it up, it actually works quite well with the NES D-pad. And this is set in 1940s, kind of gangster. Actually, it's Chicago, so I'm from the Chicagoland area, so seeing references to streets like Kedzie and bungalow-style houses was actually kind of cool. But this is point and click, lots of text to read, but it's a mystery. You got to find clues and put things together to figure out your forgotten identity here. So I always enjoyed the packaging here with kind of that neon orange. So, Deja Vu. Ouch, thud, uh-oh, shh, bang, and yikes. There's actually a little bit of a comic book style element to this game. I always remember my friend Brian and I when we played this game. Is there a screenshot of it? No. But when you got punched in the screen, it said, Socko! S-O-C-K-O. We always thought that was hilarious. But, okay, pal, here's the setup. You wake up on the floor and you don't know who you are or how you got there. You're searching through a seedy Chicago casino, decorated with one somewhat familiar but very dead body. You gotta find out who you are and who iced this guy, in a hurry. Otherwise, the cops are gonna peg you for murder one. Deja vu. In this case, what you don't know can kill you. So, my apologies for that accent. I can't even tell you what type of accent it was, but that is Deja Vu. Again, a very enticing, very brief synopsis here. There wasn't a whole lot going on, but just the way they have the aesthetic set up here with the automatopoeias, ouch, thud, very enticing. To a a young teenager who's looking for an adventure on an NES game. So who handed you a headache and how'd you land here? Better piece this together pronto. That chump who checked out looks sort of familiar, but who's the trigger man? Everybody's disappeared, and house odds are it's a setup, so watch your step. You can toss the joint for clues, but then you better beat it. Don't be dazzled by the dames, kid. They could be deadly. Maybe this gun is just for show, but maybe you can't afford to find out. So, really cool game, Deja Vu. My friend Brian, who I said we enjoyed the Socko reference, I'll put that up on the screen here so you can see what I'm talking about. But he actually found this in the bargain bin at Walmart. I think it was less than $20, and it was already well into the life of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, so he picked up a copy. I saw him playing it. I liked it. I went to Walmart, picked up my own copy, and this was it. So I actually do have all the packing materials for Deja Vu. So I think Kimco Seika, that's the publisher. I think they also published a similar game called Shadowgate. If you have any experience with that, Deja Vu is the point-and-click mystery adventure. So is Shadowgate, but it doesn't have this 1940s Chicago theme going on here. But we've got our little bit of a more modern Nintendo Power subscription. And we've got the poster. Yeah, right away, there's Shadowgate. Shadowgate is a very similar point-and-click style adventure from Kimco Seika. So, Power Player. Oh, check this out. Muscle dude with a Kimco Seika tattoo, because, yeah, that's what he would have. Controller cords wrapped around his arm there. That's actually pretty cool. But we got Desert Commander, Rocket Ranger, Rescue, and Shadowgate. and then nothing on the other side. But this is definitely the type of poster that would have gone on the wall in my parents' basement where I played my games when I was younger. Play it by the book. This is the instruction book. Looks like we got an ad here for the Deja Vu hint book, just in case you're stuck. Now made obsolete by the internet. You can watch complete video walkthroughs here. But that was the order form for the hint book. So yeah, you emerge from a groggy stupor to find your right palm covered with dried blood. No wounds. Must be someone else's blood. The pain in your left forearm grabs your attention and you notice a tiny puncture. Is this from some type of injection? Your heart skips a beat as you can't remember who you are. Really cool premise for the game. And then it looks like we've got some sort of Kemco VIP club certificate. Yeah, you can be a VIP member at this third-party Nintendo publisher who only has 4 games on their poster. Yeah, I don't know how many games Kemco Seika made for the NES, but Deja Vu was a great one. Definitely check it out if you can. Okay, before I put the final game into frame here, I need you to prepare yourself for the 80s, because it does not get any more 80s than this cover here. This is one of my absolute favorites. So here it is. Kid Nikki, Radical Ninja. Check that out. And there he is in all of his 80s glory. And then we've got these abstract shapes. I think that's called a, what is it? There's a certain design name for that. Memphis, yeah, Memphis with all the abstract neon-colored shapes. Absolutely love that Memphis design there. But look at this box art here. Got the bad guy, one of the mini-bosses. I think that was, his name was Spike. Looks very different than in the game. He's actually a skeleton in the game. And then that's called the Green Grub. And if I'm not mistaken, you are out to save your girlfriend, Margot. And this was an arcade hit. And like I alluded to, I think on the back we're going to see some screenshots of the arcade version instead of the NES version. So, Data East. That's a no-no. A little bit of false marketing there. But before we get into that, a little bit of a backstory in this. How did I get this game? My friend Andrew had this game. Yeah, I had 2 friends growing up, Andrew and Adam. And growing up, a lot of us, we had those friends who had very generous grandparents. For me, unfortunately, both my grandparents, or all my grandparents, had passed away by the time, I was 7 years old. So I really didn't have grandparents who doted on me or spoiled me or anything like that. But I did have a couple friends where it seemed like their grandparents were buying them new Nintendo games every other week. And I remember there was one week where I think Andrew got this game, Kid Nikki, and my friend Adam got Wrecking Crew. And needless to say, one of them was a little bit more pleased with their game of the week than the other one was. And that was Andrew with Kid Nikki. This is a 2D side-scroller, my favorite genre of game. If you look up reviews on this game, it's not favored too much. The play control I think is fine. The graphics are really colorful, but for whatever reason, the reviews just aren't very great on this game. But I love it. I realize fully that there's a lot of nostalgia at play with that. But I got to tell you, I'm going to go through the instruction book a little bit, and I'm going to tell you what one of my favorite things, aside from this awesome 80s Memphis-style artwork and Radical Ninja subtitle, are. So let's take a look at the back. We got more branding there. The bright pink box does not get any more 80s than this. There it is, even bigger. So looking at these screenshots, yes, all 4 of these screenshots are from the arcade game. They're not from the NES game that I hold in my hands. And I think I noticed that when I was a kid. And I didn't understand that this was a ported arcade game, but I just said, wait a minute, he's wearing yellow, not red like he is in the game. I don't even think I noticed the more detailed graphics. I think I just noticed the difference in the way his sword looked and his yellow suit instead of the red suit. So here we go. Kid Nikki is truly awesome. This rad and bad punk dude is out to rescue his spike-haired girlfriend, Princess Margot, from the clutches of the Stone Wizard. Armed with a razor-sharp sword, this miniature madman slices his giant rivals down to size. Data East brings you arcade realism at home. Data East has been a leading manufacturer of arcade video games for over 10 years, including super hits like Burger Time, Karate Champ, Kung Fu Master, and Commando. But yeah, Data East, you got to put NES screenshots on the NES version of your game. So let's open this up here. Unfortunately, this is my original copy, and I was not keen or aware enough to think to save all of the inserts back when I was a kid, so I do not have them. This is one of the games, though, that I hope to, find a more complete copy of eventually. So all I have are the instruction manual and the actual game cartridge here. So there it is. Kid Nikki and all of its pink 80s Memphis style glory. But let's take a look at Kid Nikki Radical Ninja instruction manual. Get to one of my favorite bosses of all time here. So yeah, even in the instruction manual, they are using screenshots for the arcade game. That's crazy. Wonder why they didn't update that. Alright, so here are the bosses. This is Death Breath, who tries to jump and crush you and blow you away. Spike is the skeleton, which based on his weapon here, I believe they're trying to depict him here. He's got that ball and chain, but he is a skeleton in the game. And then here we have the Horned Witch, where when you strike her with your sword, she multiplies, and there's lots of little witches that kind of go after you and swarm at you like bees. Green Grub kind of goes up and down the screen, and the really cool thing about this boss is every time you blast a segment of his body with your sword, it flies away. And that's one of the other things I like about this game. The enemies, when you hit them with your sword, they go flying off the screen. Take a look. So then continuing on here with the bosses, we've got the Stone Buddha. This one's absolutely my favorite one because how does he attack you? He yells at you. And actually there's a voice sample in the game where he says, but that's not what kills you. What does kill you is this big Chinese character, I believe, that a big voice bubble comes out, and that is actually what attacks you. And I wish I knew what the character meant. I'll put a picture up here on the screen, and if any of you know, please put in the comment what this character means that he uses to attack you with. And we've got the Samurai Guard, and then we have the Stone Wizard, who is keeping Margot hostage. And if you take a look at him, again, doesn't get any more 80s than that. So there you have the 4 games in the NES edition of World of Nintendo Favorites. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and hopefully you've learned a little bit more about some games that you might want to take a look at. So there'll be another video coming up shortly in which we're going to be taking a look at some of my favorite games for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So you'll see me in that one, but until then, take care.